Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into another amazing episode of People Helping People, the live show. I just want to say thank you, everybody who's been supporting the show. This has been one of the most fun endeavors, one of the most fun trails that I feel like I've ever blazed in my own life. And I just appreciate everybody that's tuning in, appreciate everybody that's been interactive and asking questions along the way. We already have people in here. Erica, I see you. Hello. And we have a really exciting show for you guys here today. We're going to have a recurring guest come on. His name is Jeffery Van De Veere. He is a man who has worn many hats in his life. And he's going to share some wisdom with us. And I think it's just going to be a recurring thing for us. We're going to have him on, give him a little segment to talk about whatever it is he wants to talk about because he is that guy. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. This is People Helping People. Let's get it going. A nice little sip of Joe. That one's for you, Pops. Little bit of coffee in the evening. Kayla Coffee. Speaking of which, we see you out there. Hello, baby. Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. Oh, man. There's been so much that has happened in the past few days, in the last few weeks. Life is lifing at its fullest, and I'm taking it on with a smile and optimism. You know, I feel like there's so many times in life where it's easy to kind of spiral out of control and let things get the best of you. And I'm just really trying to stay focused on staying focused, if that makes sense. I'm trying to figure out how to figure it out. And, it's been feeling really good. It's been feeling really good. And there are times where, of course, you bobble back and forth and maybe, the sense of direction is lost. But I feel like with this podcast right here, with this live show, this new medium that I found and interacting with new people, I have really invigorated my, gosh, what is the right words for that? I really reignited my passion for being of service to people. And before, it used to be through something like music or being able to help somebody out within the family or friends group. But this has given me something else. This is something that, it really feels fresh. It feels new. It feels exciting. And everybody that I've had on the show thus far, no matter how I felt the show went, they have been ecstatic, which has only filled my cup up more, only made me more excited, only made me feel as though I have more purpose in the world. And I think that that's what we're all just looking for at the end of the day, is a little bit of purpose. And to find that, I feel extremely lucky, especially finding it after, growing up. Like, I don't know if I could have handled something like this at a younger age with less wisdom and less hardships to be able to share, and not quite as much of a level head. These things have all come to fruition at the right time. And so again, I want to just thank everybody that's been tuning in. Anybody that's in here right now, I see you. I thank you for being here. People Helping People Live is slowly but surely growing. We have momentum. I have a laundry list of guests, everything from artists to musicians to authors to local business owners, silversmiths. I've got a soldier in Iraq that's going to be on here. I've got a friend who owns a beautiful restaurant on the Greek islands, and she lives in Australia. I mean, I'm just blessed to be able to have conversations and share a moment with these people and spread this information to you guys, because honestly, if we can sit down and have a conversation with somebody, not only am I grateful to have that on wax forever, to be able to look back on that, to be able to reminisce on those moments. But everybody's got an amazing story, and those amazing stories have wisdom, and you never know what you're going to hear. You never know if you just hear the right thing at the right time that hits you the right way. And changes something in your mind, changes something in your life, changes something in your heart, and maybe gives you a little ambition or a little more understanding, or that to me is what this show is all about. This is people helping people, and I love you guys. That's for you. And listen, if you guys want to help support the show, if you're watching, go ahead and share out the live stream. I don't have too many calls to action. And that's something that I think I need to work on is letting you guys know that, I sit down and have these conversations and book these guests. And the only thing that I can really ask for is for you guys to share these streams. If you tune in and you enjoy either who you're seeing or myself or whatever it is, if you're getting value from this show, do me a favor, share the show out. And if you're in here watching, be interactive. Go ahead, jump on the comments, ask me something. In moments like this, we have a guest that is supposed to be here. I'm just sitting here and I'm tuning in with the audience. Okay. So if you guys have any questions for me personally, or if you have, questions that maybe somebody else in the chat can answer, like I'm here for it. I want to open those lines of communication to anybody and everybody, because it wouldn't be people helping people without people. So you guys are the ones, and I really do appreciate you. Let's see. Richard, we see you in here. V4 Cyber says, yes, sir, with a salute. I see you. Thank you guys for jumping in. And I think that while we sit here and we wait for our guest, we can talk a bit about what's going on in my life, and what things are moving towards, and how we're going to continue to maneuver forward together as a unit. And when I say that, I mean you guys and myself, because I plan to take you with me. We have a lot that's going on, and a lot of the people that I've had on the show not only enjoyed being on the show, but want to do something together. And building out that ecosystem of like-minded individuals is really the sole purpose that we're here. So me reaching out, having these conversations, has built relationships with other business owners and like-minded people that want to push the envelope, that want to be creative, that want to embark on new endeavors. And what has happened from that is we are going to be looking at new spaces, possibly moving out of the house. And I don't want to jump to any conclusions, but, I put this stuff out there. I put the positive mindset and positive thoughts out into the ether, hoping that comes back tenfold. And I know it will. And it maybe this Sunday we don't lock down a new studio, or maybe not in a couple weeks or even a couple of months, but that's where our mindset is at. We want a studio where we can sit down with our guests so they're not in my house. Sit down with guests, and we can have these conversations in this style, and then have another section to where we can have an actual music studio. And I have my section of the house that's blocked off for that, but have artists in, have kids take classes on how to become a producer, how to record an artist, or people that just want to come in and sing and hear themselves. Like I want to have these different stations where everybody can get their fix. And we want to cross-pollinate all these things. And then we want to have a loungy area where people can hang out on the couch and shoot a podcast that way too. And maybe do some live sessions and things like that. So that's kind of where our head's at. It's looking at the future and how we can bring in more people to help more people. And we would love to have a section of this place dedicated to t-shirt printing. Shout out to Penny and Benny LLC. That's our merchandise guy. If anybody needs some merch, he is the one to go to. Penny and Benny LLC on Instagram. You can shoot him a message there. But that's what we're building towards, building out our ecosystem. And I hope that you guys are going to be along for the ride. And if you know anybody that has space in the Tucson area, reach out, because we cannot do this alone. And what I want to do is take everybody that I've had on the podcast and have one big sit down and get all of our amazing minds together, and they're all way smarter than I am. And that's why I want to surround myself with them because they're all doing it. And I want to sit everybody down in one room and we talk about a goal, a mission, something that we can all work on together to move forward. Because I strongly believe in the age-old saying, if you want to go far, let me start over. The age-old saying, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, build a team. So that is exactly what we are doing. We are building a team. We are getting people together to do things. And it's going to be super fruitful. And thanks to you guys tuning in and sharing this stuff and being interactive, it's going to be a possibility. Let's see where our guest is at. Let me go ahead and check in with him real quick, see if he's going to be showing up here. We don't have a response, and that's okay. You know, that's how it goes. I knew I was going to be freestyling for a little bit. And another thing that I'm doing, and I would encourage anybody who is maybe in the public eye or not yet in the public eye, but considering, I'm going to a class, which I never thought I would do. You know, after high school, I thought that was it. Hang it up. You know, I got out of high school early, got my GED, went to college, you know, all before I was 20 years old. And then I just wanted to be an adult, got 3 jobs, moved out on my own. And I have not looked back at school since, unless my job required me to. And so here I am, learning how to be a public speaker, failing in the public eye over and over. You know, I've ruined podcasts from bad audio and bad video, and it's okay. It's all right. I want to be vulnerable with people and show them that it's all right to fall on your face. And even if you have people looking at you sideways while you do it, as long as you dust yourself off, and you learn something from it. And that's what we're here to do. So with that said, I'm going back to school to become a better speaker. Now, I say going back to school, but it's really just an open class called Toastmasters. Shout out to Jeffery Van De Veere. She was on the show. She initially told me about Toastmasters, and it is a class where you learn how to become a better public speaker. I need that. I need that. So here I am, you know, like I said, stumbling over my words sometimes, and that's okay. I'm a human. Here I am botching some podcast episodes, and that's okay. I'm a human, and I'm learning as I go. I'm learning along the way. But I'm going to be going to Toastmasters once a week, learning how to public speak better, and I want to improve for you guys. I want to improve for myself. I want to be a better speaker to portray the things that I have in my head out to the audience in a more eloquent and well thought out way. So I'm really looking forward to that. Richard, I see you out there. He says, but you learn from your mistakes. That's the difference between you and someone else that doesn't learn from them. Yeah. Gosh. Sometimes you want to beat your head against a wall when, you know, somebody they say that's the definition of insanity, right? Thank you for that comment, by the way, Richard. That's the definition of insanity is, you know, doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. And I think that has to do with our mindsets, with physical things, with, there's just so many different avenues where that comes into place, because you have to take a step back, take some accountability. It takes humility. It takes dropping the ego to step back and be like, you know what? Every time I do that, that shit hurts. That doesn't feel good. And be able to pivot. And that takes a long time. And sometimes even for myself, it takes me bashing my head against that same wall 3, 4, 5 times before I start to be like, oh, you know what? That doesn't feel great. So that's exactly it, is learning from your mistakes. And I think in this type of situation, these mistakes are on a grand scale. So not only do you guys get to see the mistakes that I'm making live, But I also get to watch those back, and then I have to clip it out. So I have to watch myself eat it over and over and over, which has been oh, thank you, Kayla. The TV in the background has been changed. That's because the HDMI got unplugged. Thank you guys, and thank you guys for being interactive. Kayla Coffee, I see you. She's excited for the Toastmasters. I'm excited for the Toastmasters. I was considered a Toastmaster when I was younger, but that was, it kind of goes with butter. All right, all right. Anyways, yeah, no, I'm just excited about the future, and it is about learning. It is about learning. So thank you, Richard, for saying that. It's about taking, taking your L's and understanding that there's growth to be had there. And gosh, the definition of failing has been a tough one for me recently too, because I'm starting to develop this mindset that there is no real such thing as a failure because of the lessons that you learn along the way. And as you fail, you put more tools in your toolbox. Like if I didn't jump on here and fail, that means I'm not doing anything. If you're not going out and trying to do something and getting those pre-show jitters like this, as I'm doing this solo, and I am just freestyling this entire thing, it's like, yeah, I get pre-show jitters, and yeah, I'm not going to get the perfect point across, but that's what it's all about. And I hope you guys are taking risks. I hope you guys are calling loved ones and letting them know the new endeavors that you're going to embark on and try, and maybe explain to them that, gosh, I'm willing to learn and fail at this new thing, and ask for their support and let them know where you're at along the way. But anyways, I don't think that we're going to be getting a guest today. Mr. Manifest, what a cool name. He says, I'm a local here in Tucson, and I really want a chance to share my unique story into entrepreneurship. Is there an email I can reach out to? Absolutely. Mr. Manifest, not only is that a cool name, thank you for interacting with us. Thank you for jumping on the chat. And if you look right below me, this banner, reach out to me on Instagram. The handle is People Helping People Live. Those are the types of people that we want on the show. We want people that have a story to tell, and everybody does, but that wants to put themselves out there, right? That has a story to tell, good, bad, indifferent, triumphs, failures, successes. I want to hear about those types of things. But yeah, if you want to be on the show, if you want to be a part of People Helping People Live, if you feel you have some wisdom to give, whether you be a business owner or you're a musician or an artist, go ahead, plug in right here. Instagram is People Helping People Live. And you'll see the logo. See this logo right here? That is what you'll see on the Instagram. I have not posted clips yet. I've been clip farming about 150 clips to go up on Instagram, which is going to be really cool. So we'll start flooding that with content and getting you guys updated on everything that's going on here. But again, I don't think that we're going to be getting a guest today, which is totally fine. I would like to open up the lines for you guys to go ahead and ask some questions. In the meantime, I think I'm just going to perform a song for you because I feel like I want to kill some time. And I've been making music for 20 some odd years. And I have some stuff that I haven't shared with the People Helping People Live audience yet. And thank you to everybody that's smashing the like button and giving us hearts right now. That helps get this out too. So if you're watching, you're enjoying, you're getting some wisdom, some something out of this. Let me know. Smash the heart, the likes, all those things. Appreciate you guys. So let's go ahead, and I'm gonna go ahead and pull up some music for you. That I've written so much music over the years, and I've always just kind of done it for me, and then eventually gave up on it and put it out into the world. The reception to my music has always been overwhelming in a sense that I guess I felt alone in so many situations when I was writing these songs, to hear that people related to some of the songs and to hear people know the lyrics to some of the songs and to see that people are streaming it from time to time. It is, it's something that's really heartwarming. So I'm going to play you guys a song called Take a Chance, and I'll perform it over the top of this, and we'll see how we do with this. I need to know if this sounds good as well. So as we're going, give me a thumbs up in the comment box, and we're going to perform Take a Chance live. Y'all ready? Let's go. Does that sound okay? Let me take you to the other side, 'cause the moment it feels so right. And I know, don't wanna let this go. No, no, no. Let me get a chance to blow your mind. Though you know you gotta take a chance to get to know mine. Yeah, 'cause I know I ain't gonna let this go. No, no, no. Even though I know you care, you carry some baggage, I fear. Someday that baggage might tear, exposing your trash everywhere. But that wasn't part of the plan. You were blatantly holding his hand. Now I'm feeling like less of a man. I was trying to tell you I'm a fan. I ain't a fan no more. Whoa. I ain't a fan no more. Oh. I ain't a fan no more. Oh, I ain't a fan no more. Let me take you to the other side, 'cause the moment it feels so right. And I know, don't wanna let this go. No, no, no. Let me get a chance to blow your mind. Though you know you gotta take a chance to get to know mine. Yeah, 'cause I know I ain't gonna let this go. No, no, no. I've been living in deception. Man, she's so deceptive. Now I'm filled with this aggression. Life lessons that I didn't see were coming. And I hit the ground running. Nah, nah, nah. You find yourself with someone else. I blame myself. You're no good for my health. You've created this hell. Let me take you to the other side, 'cause the moment it feels so right. I know, don't wanna let this go. I don't wanna let this go. Let me get a chance to blow your mind. Though you know you gotta take a chance to get to know mine. Yeah, 'cause I know I ain't gonna let this go. I ain't gonna let this go. Oh, let this go. Oh, let this go. Let this go. Let this go. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, Take a Chance. That was a really fun one. It's got that, it's kind of got a little bit of a, I don't know, put yourself on the beach, drink a little sangria, maybe a little Corona with some lime. Kayla Coffee says, with people helping people vibes. Oh, okay. Yeah. Wow. Interesting. What a question. You know what? I'm going to put that up on the screen. That's a really good question. Yeah. First off, thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for listening to a little song of mine. Like I said, we expected a guest today, so we're just rolling the dice. We're having fun, and we're freestyling. And with that freestyle, we played a song of mine called "Take a Chance," and you can stream that on any streaming platform that you have. Yeah, Alexander J is the artist name. The album is No Genre, and the song is Take a Chance. But now let's open this up. Let's open this up for questions. Kayla Coffee comes through with an incredible question. She says, with people helping people vibes, what's the most unexpected way someone has helped you? Whoa. I feel like I need to take a moment to think about that. Let me read it one more time. What's the most unexpected way someone has helped you? The most unexpected way. God, what a freaking amazing question. It really, really has me diving in deep at so many little aspects in my life. And I feel like the most recent, to be honest, is the most unexpected way someone has helped me. I feel like I am finally complete. I've got an amazing girlfriend who has completely blocked out all the noise in my life, and I don't think she understands how much she helps me. But I was single for so many years, and it's she obviously can't tell the noise that I had in my head prior, but it's just a sense of serenity. There's a sense of calm and peace and self understanding, and I think a lot of people either in relationships would understand or have been in relationships where those moments are there, and you're like, "Whoa, this is very unexpected." For one, and one of the most calming things that that has ever entered into my life. So I hope that answers your question. I didn't mean to be biased by that question because she is the one asking it, but it's the most recent unexpected help that I have received. And it's been the most, I guess, self-developing endeavor that I've ever been on. So yeah. And gosh, a lifetime to go. So great question. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And let's see. Richard says, I hope that answers your question. And I hope that didn't sound too cheesy, but that's the honest truth. That's where I'm at. And I really feel like it's the most unexpected hand that I never knew that I needed until it was there. And yeah, it really is something special. Richard says, this song sounds good. Also reminds me a little of the Little River Band song, Take It Easy on Me. Ooh, cool. Yeah, all right. All right. Let me give you some of that. Nice. I appreciate that. Thank you. That's a huge compliment. And he gives me some clapping hands. Beautiful. Yeah, and Richard says, great question, Kayla. Yeah, I mean, gosh, amazing. Let's see. Luke Anthony, I see you out there, brother. Let's see what's going on. He says, on the music topic, who are your biggest music influences? Biggest era of influence? Gosh, that's another fantastic question, because I feel like I was born and raised into an eclectic music listening family, right? They listen to absolutely everything. Like I remember specifically waking up to hearing my mom playing Nora Jones while she's cooking us breakfast. And come away with me in the night. And just there was something about smelling the eggs and bacon and sausage and coming down the stairs to having Nora Jones playing, and and then we had the Beatles, and my dad was into rock, so we had Black Sabbath and Deep Purple and Bad Company and Led Zeppelin and all those influences. And then in middle school, you had your fuck you era. I had a big fuck you era, and that was when hip hop came into my life, and I started diving into hip hop. And the hip hop that got me the most was the 50 Cents, Eminem, of course, but the melodic style hip hop is something that I gravitated towards. There was something to be said about a hard hip hop beat with somebody with the timing of a hip hop artist, but also the inflection of a singer at the same time. And it was really interesting to watch that. And then in my later life, EDM started to creep in. Gosh, great question, Luke. By the way, you're opening up a whole slew of reminiscing and past experiences, and I appreciate that. I appreciate that question a lot. And yeah, so that EDM came into my life, and my sister is a big festival goer. She loves to watch EDM music live. And I didn't really understand it until I went with her. And I was like, oh, wow, you have a whole sea of people on the same page. There's a vibration, a frequency when you get groups of people together and they're there in love to, and it's interesting because they're not like worshiping an artist. They're there to feel the music. So it is different. It is different than watching an artist on stage when you're watching a performance. So that is a total different vibe. And if you've ever done something like that, you'd understand. So to answer your question, a little bit of everything. I'm a melting pot of music over the years. I would say that let's just touch on favorite rock artist for me. I would have to say Seven Dust, but there's so many others to sprinkle in, like Chevelle. I love me some Saving Abel. There's just so many to touch on. And hip hop would have to be the melodic stuff. Recently I've been listening to some Sun Real. I love Greaves. I love old school 50 Cent. I love old school The Game. I love, there's a lot. So great question, Luke. I really appreciate you. And it looks as though the man, the myth, the legend, Jeffery Van De Veere has stepped in, and we'll get right to you, my brother. I see you there. We got some questions here I'm going to answer, and then we're going to tune in and get some wisdom, some love, and some motivation from Jeffery Van De Veere. Richard, I see out there. What helped you decide to do people helping people? Wow. Okay, so my audience is you guys are better interviewers than I am. These are great questions and putting me on the spot in a beautiful way. So I appreciate you for challenging me through these. What inspired me to decide to do people helping people? Just that. I wanted to find an outlet for one to share the wisdom and knowledge that I know that I carry innately through my experiences, my trials and tribulations, my failures. And I realized that there was a common thread with everybody I've ever interacted with in the world. I've always felt as though I've had an odd way of tuning in to seeing through somebody's laughter and feeling their pain. I've always felt as though I've had an odd way of knowing when authenticity isn't there and it's trying to cover something that may be looming deep inside of somebody's heart. And I realized that everybody's got a story. Everybody has something incredible to give to the world. And I'm so thankful to have people like you guys tuning in to hear me yap and learn from others. I'm trying to surround myself by smarter people, and that's what the whole goal is to learn. And hopefully it'll make me an even better provider of those things moving forward. And so, yeah, I guess to answer your question, to boil it down, what helped me to decide to do, great question. What helped you to decide to do people helping people? What helped me? Jeez. I guess meeting Damien, opening up my home to become a studio. So Damien, if you're out there, you're listening, the owner of 857 Tucson, man, meeting him, he was like, we should do a live podcast. And I was like, yeah, let's do it. And we dove right in. And I am forever grateful. And that stemmed from me opening up my home and inviting people from Facebook over, as sketchy as that sounds. So yeah, there's a few factors that came into play, but thank you for that beautiful question, Richard. I really do appreciate that. Let's see. Angela Coffee. I don't remember that era. Shoot. I wish that I would have read that as we were going there. I'm sorry. I don't know what that was referring to. I'm sure it's one of the music eras that I was discussing. Oh, my old man is in here. Pops. hold on. Let me give him a sip of coffee. He was a DJ back in the day. He was a disc jockey. He's still a disc jockey in my heart. And now here I am, full circle, many moons later, decades and decades later, doing the same thing. And he used to do this every morning on his morning show before reading, about the weather and playing music and doing all that. He'd have his morning sip of Joe. This one's for you, Pops. Good morning. That's for you, old man. I love it. Luke Anthony, thank you for popping in. Let's see. He says exactly. I feel. He says exactly. I feel like the blended household for myself made me the same. A melting pot. So many influences from different parental figures. Yes, absolutely. And our generation too is just that. Like our generation started to dive into different genres of music. And now you're seeing, back in the day when I started making music, I thought I was a fuck up because I couldn't figure out if I was going to be a rocker, a rapper, a piano player, a folk guitarist. There was no genre that I wouldn't touch. I would do it all just because that's what I grew up on. And I feel like more and more people grew up on that as the years went on. And now you're seeing that everywhere. Post Malone goes from hip hop to pop star, and now he's a country artist, and that's what it is. So I'm glad that mesh, that mold of all these different genres are finally coming together for the world to see, because most artists they aren't one-sided, they're multifaceted. So I love to see it. Kayla Coffee, yeah, the FU era. That was all of middle school was the FU era when you had to hide the Eminem CD under your bed, so mom didn't know you were bumping that when she go get groceries. Tracy Ward, Mama, I see you. I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you for joining us. Kenny, thank you for joining us as well. He says your background makes me feel like I'm in a treehouse, dude. Isn't that the coolest? Look at that. Maybe the goal is to do a podcast in a place like this, right? Like if we can get a studio and just make it into like the coolest freaking treehouse you ever did see. I would love that. 857 Tucson. Thanks for the shout. Loving the vibe of the show. Such amazing people you interviewed and coming into chat. Yeah, man. Thanks to you, and the little push that I needed was what you gave to me, and I need to give you your flowers because I feel like that's more of a trait that's happening less and less in the world today. I don't know if it's a pride thing, an ego thing, but if you learn something from somebody, or you get love or energy or something from someone around you, give them their fucking flowers because they deserve it, right? So that one's for you, 857 Tucson. Damien, I appreciate you, brother. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, we are going to pivot the show. I appreciate everybody again for tuning in. And we have an amazing guest today. As we said in the beginning of the show, Jeffery Van De Veere. He's here joining us live, and I am very excited to have him on. He is not only an author, but an individual he's walked many different lanes in life. He's worn many hats. He has coached many people. He shares his love, wisdom, and charisma with the world with every ounce of his being. And I could not be more happy to introduce him back to People Helping People Live. Ladies and gentlemen, Jeffery Van De Veere.
Well,
the show.
Thank you, and thank you for having me on. I appreciate you waiting. I was a little subject to some other people that way, but I'm so happy to be here. And it always warms my heart, and I'm always astounded, Alex, at your skill, your prolific thoughts, concepts, verbiage, the way you go about making stuff happen, and the the fluency with which you speak about it, and your connection to people. And Tracy and Lars, my sister and my beautiful brother, I love you guys. I'm glad you're here with us tonight, and I'm pretty excited about this subject.
Oh, I can't wait to hear about it. And I just want to take a moment and thank you for, excuse me, thank you for saying that. You know, I feel as though one thing I am learning as I'm moving forward is how to take a dang compliment. Thank you is okay.
Yeah, thank you works.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you works. Yeah. So thank you. I sincerely appreciate that.
Uh,
And you've been a recurring guest on the show, and I want to cut out a segment for you all the time moving forward, because anybody that does tune in and has listened to you speak has been as astounded as I am every time with
oh,
the different. I mean, I could spit this back at you, the different verbiage and the way that you're eloquent with the way that you speak. You're captivating. Like I said, you're somebody, when you walk into a room, there's an energy shift of attention, and you are that light to a lot of people, including myself. So why don't you go ahead and guide us through what topic we're going to be talking about today, and let's dive in.
well, thank you again so much. Actually, it bears witness to and supports what you've been talking about with music, how music affects us, the vibration of music, and verbiage itself. Words themselves, as we know, have tremendous power. It's not just what we say and how we say it, it's the actual physical vibrational harmony, the frequency of the words
Ooh,
that penetrate our minds, our hearts. And what I'm going to talk about is something in greater depth, but I'm going to preface all of that with some proof about how magnificently powerful words are. When I was in my youth, in grade school and some of high school, actually right there in Tucson, during that time, there was a very popular phrase that the doctors would give to parents. And it was at the same time the most crippling phrase of our time. And that was when the doctor would tell the parents, where your child is just a little slow.
ooh,
Oh, now imagine, first of all, how that sets up the parents. I can imagine them saying, and they did in fact say to those kids, well, honey, don't worry about keeping up with the other kids in school. You know, just do the best you can. You know that we love you anyway, no matter what you do or how little.
mm,
So they expected less of those children because they were told they were slow.
mm.
And when less is expected of you, then less is what you give.
Well said.
We set ourselves up for it. So at that same moment, well, there were a whole lot of other. Let's go back 100 years prior to that. In the mid 1800s, there was another young man who went to a little farm school in the Midwest. And his school sent him home with a letter one day that was sealed. And his mother opened the letter. And she read the letter, and it said, your child has been found to be so slow that he is uneducatable.
Woof.
And I'm afraid that we're going to have to dismiss him from school because we don't have anyone here who can manage this type of child. Well, his mother, having read that note, filed it away and said to her son, it appears Al, that's what they called him, Al, that you are so bright, you are so smart that this school does not have the capability to teach a boy like you what he deserves to learn, and they cannot come up to the stature of your brilliance. So I'm going to teach you here at home. Your father is going to help me, and we're going to do everything that we possibly can to come up to your brilliance.
Mm,
That man, that young boy, was Thomas Alva Edison.
mm, mm.
Powerful, powerful words. When he was told that he was brilliant and his parents began teaching him as if he were, he in fact stepped up to the plate. We all have brilliance within us. We are all magnificently, innately, and intuitively brilliant. We are all, well, a bunch of universities went together and got a bunch of kids together, and they sent them through IQ tests. And 92% of children before the age of 5 are, in fact, genius
Wow.
at solving problems because innately we are problem solvers and we're brilliant. But as we go through school and as we're taught and as our friends begin to criticize and gossip about us, we that brilliance diminishes. There was another popular phrase that I was alluding to a few minutes ago when we were growing up that was a very common phrase that was this: sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me.
Oh, load of junk.
Oh, a bigger lie was never told.
Yeah.
I'd I'd rather have a broken arm than a broken heart, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah,
100%.
yeah, yeah. So the power of words, they hold within them a frequency that penetrates, that pierces our hearts, that pierces our minds. As you know, I'm also a hypnotherapist, a clinical hypnotherapist.
Mhm.
And inevitably, it was a conversation that programmed subconscious minds with disempowering beliefs. And that's mostly what we deal with: triggers that cause behavior controlled by our subconscious minds, which is like the subconscious is like the motherboard for this computer. And then this computer dangles this meat suit that we call the body, and it causes it to behave in certain ways. And it's all driven by the subconscious mind, which is programmed by verbiage.
Mhm.
If any of you have seen, I'm sure probably you have a very bright audience.
Mhm.
I'm going to guess that most of the people in your audience have seen What the Bleep Do We Know and The Secret. And I believe it was What the Bleep Do We Know that demonstrated how water has memory,
Mhm.
it has intelligence. If you take a dish of water and put it over an image, somebody's face or a moon or something like that, and put it in the freezer, it will duplicate that image
Mhm.
in its frozen state. It will also, if you write something on a glass of water, like hate or discontent, and put it in the freezer and examine it with a magnifying glass, you're going to discover some very ugly contribution
Mhm.
in the freezing of that water. Sometimes it'll actually turn black under a microscope. On the other hand, if you write the word love, contentment, beauty, charm, elegance, gratitude, that water comes out beautifully crystal clear with gorgeous manifestations of like snowflakes and beautiful kaleidoscopic colors. Words are that powerful, even when they are unspoken. So everything that we think, every idea, concept, and conversation that we have goes out into what most of us, again, your audience is brilliant beyond the average. You're familiar with the Akashic record.
Mm.
And the Akashic record, for those who don't know, and don't feel badly if you don't, because it's fairly esoteric conversation, but the Akashic is like the cloud. You know, all the information you have on your iPhones and iPads and desktops. If when it gets overloaded, it goes into the cloud, and for a couple of bucks and a password, you can gather that information back, right? Well, it's there vibrationally. There's a harmonic stored in the cloud. Well, that's what the Akashic record is. I came upon it in sort of an interesting way, and so I referred to it as the Akashic field. But anyway, it is where every conversation from the beginning of time, every idea, concept, and thought has been stored. Now, here's the beauty of the Akashic. We all have access to it for free and forever. And every bit of information that has ever been discussed is there, stored in it. So when we get what we call deja vu, downloads, gut feels, when we have intuitions, most of that information is coming from the Akashic.
Mm.
Some of it, of course, is coming from the people surrounding us and the auras and the field of information that they exude simply by being in our presence, and our own innate ability to draw that from the Akashic gives us tremendous insight and wisdom. Now, the cousin to the Akashic, the closest cousin, is, go ahead, somebody put it up there. I'll bet somebody knows. I'll bet somebody knows what the closest cousin to the Akashic is. You may know, Alex. You probably do if you wanted to spit it out. It's the quantum field, right? Or quantum physics, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So the quantum has been discussed and been familiar to most of the philosophers for thousands upon thousands of years. And science typically catches up eventually with what we know innately and intuitively and philosophically. And they have finally described it, identified it, and coined that as the quantum field or quantum physics, which says that we are all connected.
Mm.
We are all connected by this vibrational harmonic that is in tune with every single one of us, so that do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Well,
Mm-hmm.
karma. There's a verse in the Bible that says, don't cry raka at someone even at a distance, because it damages them. It will hurt them. The words that we use are powerful. So when we put love and gratitude and appreciation out there, that's the feedback that we get. You know, when you're in a great mood and you get into a group of people and the vibe is different. You just fall in love with everybody and
Yeah.
they with you. And it's because of this vibrational frequency, this harmony that we dive into, that we tap into. And the verbiage that we use just flows from us like rivers of nourishment to
Mm.
the soul. So here is kind of the bottom line, and I'm going to put this in a very tight nutshell here. Again, you guys are super bright out there, and I know that you are aware and you have this sensation, this knowing that we are right on the threshold of another great reset. I'm not talking about governmental and all of that and all that nonsense. I'm talking about terrestrial. I'm talking about eternal reset. So our generations that follow us are going to be the architects of this great reset. The information that they get as a download, they're going to get from the Akashic.
Mm.
So everything that we feed into that field of knowledge, that cloud, if you will, are going to be the building blocks, the architecture, and the building materials for the next great reset. So it is our responsibility to make sure that we concentrate on being in love with ourselves and each other and speaking about that.
Mm.
So that this next great reset is built from the foundation and with the vibration of love itself
Mm.
and not something else.
Powerful. Very powerful. Gosh, I mean, eloquently said. Thank you for that, because I feel as though so many people in this life, including myself, there's a consistent uphill battle with
Mm,
self talk.
mm,
Self talk
yeah.
can be one of the most detrimental or uplifting um, acts of um, internal mindset change or whatever it is, right? So my point is, if we unpack that a little bit and talk about if somebody is struggling with negative self-talk,
Mm,
what are some of the first steps that someone can take to turn that around and throw positivity back into the Akashic, throw some
mhm.
love back into the world, not only for themselves but the people surrounding them?
Well, that's a provocative question, and it's the perfect question, Alex. The First of all, we have there is a tendency nowadays to practice affirmations.
Mm.
And affirmations are great if they are done properly. But some of the affirmations that I've heard people using for themselves, the subconscious calls a bullshit on.
Mm.
Like, oh, I'm the most powerful person, or I am, king of England, or I am this and I am that. Well, your subconscious is going to call a bullshit on it, and it's going to work in reverse. It's going to
Yeah,
tear you down.
yeah. Chill out on
So,
that stuff.
yeah, chill, dude. You ain't all that, not
Okay,
yet. But
buddy. Yeah.
so the real uh, effective affirmations are, how can I be even more effective
Mm.
in my appreciation for myself and who I am? How can I even dig more deeply into this perfect, magnificent soul that I was created with, to discover how much more magnificence there is in me, how much more capacity there is in me to perform, to love, to contribute to the world, to give, and, by the way, to receive. Like
Ah,
you said earlier, sometimes it's difficult to receive, to take a compliment,
yeah.
because we tend to be a little humble. but to receive that compliment.
Ah,
And by the way, every time we look deeply into the eyes and the hearts and the souls of someone else with a deliberate effort to find the beauty, the grace, the loveliness inside those people, that person specifically, we will find it. And it's a reflection of who we are. That self talk comes back to us in our recognition of what we find and witness in other people.
interesting. Now,
Because if we didn't have it, we couldn't see it.
okay. Oh, interesting. And I actually want to dive into that a little bit. And first off,
Mm-hmm.
I want to put a cap on what you had just said, because
Mm-hmm.
essentially the first step to helping guide somebody through those self affirming beliefs and truths comes from stating something that may be a dim light inside of yourself, but knowing it is a truth that you want to brighten. So you're
Mm-hmm.
acknowledging that this is the area in which I want to work on, whether it be your confidence, your like for myself, it would just be simply the way that I speak and think out sentences and the next thing I'm going to say, right? You're acknowledging that and you want to expand on it. So you're giving yourself permission and seeing yourself, envisioning yourself already doing better at what it is that you're affirming yourself you do. Correct?
Correct, precisely. Because when you say, how can I be even better? Or who do I know who can help me to become even more fluent in this area? You've already affirmed that you are, in fact, doing it when you say, how can I be even better?
Mm,
And it opens up the mind and the subconscious mind to receive and to go on the quest of answering the question.
mm,
So you can just shut up and let it do its thing, and the answers will come.
yeah, truly. And then, yeah, I mean, really well said, really well said. And that's super interesting. And that's something the audience can take home with them right now.
Right.
Take that with you, practice it. Find
Yep.
something that you feel as though the light can be brightened within yourself,
Mm-hmm.
and affirm that light, that it is okay to not only shine bright but to receive from others the good graces of that same light. Beautiful.
Amen.
Cool.
Yeah. How?
And
Yeah.
go ahead.
Yeah. How can I? And the verbiage is important. I'm adjusting my seat here because I had to plug my phone in. So,
I
um,
thought there's an earthquake there. We're gonna have
yeah. Earthquake here in IE Mexico.
yeah.
Um, yeah. So the verbiage is, how can I even better allow my light to shine?
Mm,
Which is an affirmation that it's already shining. You've programmed your subconscious mind to go on the quest to answer the questions because your subconscious is your very best friend. It's going to help you out. And when it goes on that quest, it's going to find the answers and it's going to give those answers to you in the form of downloads, epiphanies,
mm.
and gut feels and intuitions. And when it does, you're going to have one of those aha moments. You go, oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And by the way, when you find those traits and the beauty in other people, tell them about it.
Yes. I've been preaching that for the past 2 episodes.
There you go. Well, we're right on.
I
It
mean,
must be the Akashic. It's the quantum man hooking us up.
you have already touched on so many things that not only did I bring up early, just watch this episode through, and I think you're going to be blown away by some of the things that I was touching on versus some of the things that we're having a discussion about right now.
Mm,
And I just wanted to say thank you for one, giving people the opportunity to um, give this blessing to themselves, right?
mhm,
And that's what it's all about. That's what people helping people is all about. Is
mm.
hopefully giving you guys enough wisdom or just a little nugget. It just can take one little nudge with the right language, whether it be spiritual, analytical, emotional, the right language to, and we touched on that prior, and there's many more that I'm not, but anyways, to get them to either get over the hump, hurdle, or moment of feeling stuck. And so, again, I want to thank everybody for tuning in and thank you for sharing that. But as we move forward, Jeff, you mentioned the reflection. You mentioned how what people bring to you, you have in yourself, and vice versa. And that is so interesting to me because very seldomly do I go through life and meet somebody and say, that's my brother, or that is somebody I need in my life forever.
Yeah.
But it happens. And when it happens, I've been told multiple times, I sit down with somebody and it's just like, we're crying, we're laughing, we're telling stories. It just is like this bond of brotherhood or love that I never knew. Maybe I never knew that person 5 minutes prior, and then all of a sudden we're best friends and we know that we're going to be in each other's lives forever. And I've been told multiple times, and I never understood. So I want you to help me to understand this because I know that you have the answers for this. I've been told multiple times in those situations that they they would say that they are just a reflection of me.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Mm-hmm.
would smile and just not want to completely derail our conversation because I didn't understand. And
Yeah.
I want to publicly say that it's okay to double back and find somebody smarter than you to ask questions. And I'm sitting here today asking you, when somebody tells me that I am just, or that they are just a reflection of me, what does that mean?
That is precisely what we're talking about. It has to do with a recognition. I don't. There's a phrase in the spiritual world, a greeting that is namaste.
Mm,
And what that means is my soul recognizes your soul. We have simpatico.
mm,
We see each other. We know each other immediately. So it is a projection and a reflection. It is everything that we say and do is a reflection of our own character. If you are uh, critical, if you're a gossip, if you are insulting people constantly, that has nothing to do with them. It's a reflection of the way you see yourself.
mm.
You are speaking to yourself.
Ooh, interesting.
And the reverse is true. If you find the beauty, the love, the charm, the grace in other people, it's because you recognize it within yourself and you're delighted to witness it in somebody else and to pass it on to them
Mm,
because it reinforces who you are. It doubles up your character, and you have just placed that positive harmonic vibrational frequency into that person, which builds them up as a human being.
mm.
And their charm and their delight is now held up. It's supported by those words that you gave him and by the recognition of who that person truly is. And that will support them for the rest of their lives. And they'll pass it on. And it's a snowball
Ah,
that just transforms the world one person at a time. And it only takes six people, right, to
mm.
get to everybody in the world. So let's perpetrate that and practice that. And it's such a magnificent thing. I got to tell another little quick story, unless there's something you want to interject
Yeah, I
there.
do have something I want to touch on because, again, harmonious. The things that you're touching on, I don't want to say I've been harping on them, but I have brought up in the last two conversations with different guests in different scenarios. And there's something, and I'm going to try and land this plane as beautifully as I possibly can. No turbulence, because every other time it's been tough. And maybe you can help me summarize it as I botch going through this. But the ripple effect of, first off, let me just acknowledge what you said. I appreciate you giving me that definition because that makes sense to me. That makes sense to me that there is a transfer of frequency, and that makes sense to me that I've always used it in the negative sense that I've shown love and respect and appreciation for somebody hating, for spewing hatred, because I know that the loudest, the meanest, they're hurting the worst, and I know it. There is
Yeah.
absolutely no reason for anybody to ever act like that unless they're hurting. So I give that respect and love to the people that do act that way. Now I don't stick around to hear about it, but you know,
You got to have boundaries.
yes. But to hear the opposite end of that is also a beautiful thing, and I really appreciate that. Now, when you talk about the ripple effect, and we're here right now, we have people talking in the chat. We have people sharing out this show and enjoying these conversations with us, which I am over the moon and back. But the ripple effect of something so simple, and again, please help me hone this in because it's so amazing. The ripple effect of helping one person where you may not know how far that ripple goes before it turns into a wave that maybe somebody can catch one day and gets totally pitted, right? And this is, they're
Mm-hmm.
excited because they're in the wave, and they have a bunch of people on the beach seeing them catch this wave, and it's this, like you said, snowball effect,
Yeah.
when only we can see the person that we speak to either get enlightened, get inspired, get motivated. And whether it be through music, through communication, through physical activity, whatever it is, those inspirations to those people could save somebody's life. You don't know how far those things go. Um, and in that ripple effect, that snowball, I try and give people the flowers that they deserve, right? Tell people what they bring into the room when they walk in. Tell them why you speak the way that you speak. Tell them, tell them the beauty that is who they are and what you noticed. Why do they light up a room? Why do they make people laugh? Why do you speak the way that they speak? And maybe you put a little emphasis on it, or you dance the way that they dance. And it's because it's something that you appreciate or admire about that person. And saying those things to the ones that you love, care for, and appreciate can change their lives. And I want to leave that with the audience. And I said the same thing on the last podcast. Reach out to somebody that you love and tell them something that you appreciate about them, what they brought into your life. And maybe it's multiple things, or it's just one thing specifically you do every day, how you touch your chin, or how you sip your coffee, or whatever it may be. Something loving that that person has brought into your life. Reach out to them, give them that grace, give them that moment, because everybody's deserving. And maybe if you could summarize that for me.
Well, you've done a very good job on your own, buddy. And yes, it is as moving as music.
Mm,
You know that music can change your mood, your thoughts, your heart in a heartbeat. Just a few, just a few notes of a particular song that brings back a memory can just spark your countenance. And there is, when we speak in harmonious fashions
Mm.
that do the same thing to hearts. And once again, you are contributing a legacy. Some of us have been fortunate enough to leave financial legacies that are multi-generational, and that's great. I applaud that, and the hard work and effort and wisdom that goes into that is pretty spectacular. Every single one of us, every single one of us contributes to the Akashic, which contributes to eternity. That's our true legacy. So you talk about a ripple effect. Holy moly, that's about as big a ripple as you can get, because this
Beautiful.
is literally universal. Okay,
Yes.
your speak becomes permanently recorded in the Akashic, and
Mm.
people will draw from that eternally.
Wow.
Now, now, don't get me wrong. I'm not. Look, I am as guilty of plopping out some negative turd.
We all are.
Just,
We're
I
all here.
mean,
Put your
we
hands up.
look, yeah, we can't be all kumbaya all the time, right?
Hell no.
Yeah, shit. As a matter of fact, just the other night I was at a little house party, and I was quoting someone else, but it came out of my mouth, and I went, "Oh God, Jeff, what did you really say that?"
When you put
I
the
mean,
carriage before the horse.
oh my gosh. So here's a little demonstration. I'm gonna kind of give you this. So what we got to do is take some lessons from our canine friends. Every time we plop one of those things out, here's what you do. You go.
No. Kick a little dirt over the shit.
Kick a little dirt over it. Hope that the little time and a little sun dries it out so nobody else steps in it, takes it home, and defiles the entire house.
Right, right.
So yeah, we're going to do it,
Yeah.
and we know we're going to do it, and you know what? It's just the way it goes. All right, but when we do, make sure that we kick some dirt over it. And what I mean by that is to back up a little bit. You might even say, you know what, that was rude and uncalled for, and I deeply apologize. And I'd like to tell you some things that I've seen in you. You have such grace when you speak to people.
Mm.
You focus because you're interested in what people have to say. And your responses are so insightful and
Mm.
so smart and so wise. And every time you open your mouth, I learn something.
Mm. Thank you.
And so you see how quickly I covered that up?
Yeah.
But you have to cover it up with truth, because if you're bullshitting, they go, this guy's full of crap and I don't
Right.
buy it anyway. And it's just not going to be effective. Matter
Yeah.
of fact, just like affirmations uh, that are not really confirming and they're not congruous with that person's reality, the subconscious is going to call a bullshit on it and it's going to work in reverse. So the point is to be very, very careful. And I got to tell you this one little story that's on my mind right now. Speaking of the power of words,
Please.
some of you, if not all of you, have probably seen this awesome video about there's a there's a blind man sitting on a sidewalk. He's got his cup out and he's got his little sandwich board, and it's a busy street and busy sidewalk. Maybe uh, I don't know, maybe London, New York, something like that. Once in a while, somebody will throw a coin in his cup, and he hears the very obvious click of a young girl's shoes coming up. She stops, throws a coin in his little cup, and then he discerns that she's picking up his sign and erasing it and writing something else on it. He reaches out and touches her shoes for recognition. She puts the sign back down. She walks away, and suddenly, this blind man's cup is being filled so quickly he can barely get it into his bag as it fills up. He's delighted, of course. He then hears her coming back the other way. She stops, and he said, what did you do? What did you say? Well, the camera had shown us his sandwich board sign before, and it said, I'm blind. Please help. She said, well, I pretty much said what you said. I just said it a little differently. The camera turns to the sign and it says, it's a beautiful day and I can't see it.
Wow. Mm.
Oh,
Yeah. Mm.
there you
That's it.
go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well,
Now, even in saying that, I tear up. I'm tearing up right now because it's we have an innate responsibility as human beings. We're on the planet to serve one another.
hmm.
And I don't think that we are better served than with kindness and love. You talk about motivation and inspiration. Man, even some of my coaches when I was in school, when I was, in sports and stuff, were kind of hard nosed. They were pretty tough, but you could always tell that toughness came from a place of love.
Mm.
They wanted us to be better. They wanted us to achieve. And when we did, oh man, they were the first ones to be there with a hug and a handshake and accolades. And so my battery's going dead here. I don't know why. Hang on, let me see if I can plug this in. Go ahead and reward your audience with some of your wisdom while I do this.
Well, yeah. I just wanted to touch on this real quick. They say the only person that ever wants to see you do better than them is your father.
Mm.
And, you know, I just feel like maybe I'm surrounded by incredible people and have raised me a specific way. And maybe when I was younger, that was the case. And it took me getting sick
Mm.
and stripping myself of, or the universe or God or whatever you want to call it, stripping me of my manhood completely, down to 120 pounds, struggling with diabetes and Crohn's, to asking my parents for help for the first time in my life at 29 years old, to realize that I want everyone to win. I want everyone to find something that ignites them on the inside, to
Yeah.
be of service to the people around them. And I think that's what a lot of people in the world may be missing, is that purpose of service. And that is something that comes with time and trying new things. And I am an advocate of eating some shit. Go fall on your face, get dirty, dust it off, look at your scrapes and say, man, I earned that. you Grandpa used to always say you're not having fun until you bleed. And I used to cry every time he'd say that, man. He would look at me and I'd be bleeding from wherever, elbows, hands, my face. Well, looks like you're having some fun. And I'd be, what? I didn't get it. I didn't get
Yeah.
it. But it makes so much sense, because if you're not falling down and eating some shit, then you're not trying new things. and go find something. It could just be one small change, one little thing. Try one new little thing. Go give it a go because you don't know until you try. I would have never done this before until I gave it a go. And we're here today, and I'm so, so thankful and blessed to have people like you, Jeff, on, to have people like the business owners that I've had on in the past. I have a laundry list coming for you guys to be able to learn from. And as I continue, I feel like I'm growing as an individual in so many ways. And yeah, so, to land that plane, go eat some shit, guys.
Hey, speaking of your wonderful father,
Yes, the
when
best.
he's the best. He is so my brother. I'm sure he's told you this story because we both repeat it, but when he and I met, we had that simpatico.
Mm,
We had that immediate bond that was way beyond just a simple handshake friendship. I mean, it's it's almost difficult to do it justice. But and he will say that we got together and we met and we were just quiet. We just didn't have to say much of anything at all.
yeah.
We communicated with a a vibration of love and understanding and appreciation, and it was as if we had already known each other for our lives.
Mm,
And it's still that way. We get together and we just bang, we just hook right up, and it's a beautiful thing. And so that's part of finding your tribe, finding that vibration that harmonizes with yours, that frequency that is parallel to yours. And when you don't, obviously, we attempt to get in sync. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. We acquire some beautiful friendships and some acquaintances that can help us to promote ourselves in whatever direction we want to go.
mhm,
And once in a while, like you said, you get that bond.
mm.
You find that person that you just connect with. And those that you don't, just bless them and let them go.
Yeah, that's okay too.
It's fine
Yep.
because they're going to go find somebody that they do bond with and they have that harmony with.
Yes.
And don't deny them that privilege by hanging out with them too much.
Yeah.
Let them go do their thing.
Yeah.
But uh, yeah, when I was I've been an employer most of my life, and it's very difficult to find a group of people large enough to run a company who have that bond.
Mm,
But there are some things that you can do as a business owner, boss, employer, whatever, uh, that you can do to help program their minds to get along. And one of those things is to know that there is already built in respect for the boss. You don't have to be bossy.
yeah.
You want to be a leader, and you lead by example. And that example is one of love, understanding, and appreciation. If you understand what they say, you appreciate what they say, you underpin it. If they bring you a complaint or an issue, say, okay, good. You're welcome to do that. Bring me three potential solutions along with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And by the way, if somebody is continually coming to you with difficulties or gossip or this person did that and they screwed this up and blah, 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 and they're just rampant, those other people are not the problem. The person bringing you the issues is the problem,
Preach. Yeah.
right?
Absolutely.
Right?
Jeff, I thank you so much for being on the show. Time flies when we're together, man.
Ah,
We talk about harmonious relationships, and Yeah, it's been an hour and a half. We've
Oh
been
my
out.
goodness.
Yeah, we've been doing it.
What?
We've been, yeah, an hour and a half long conversation, and just flowing. And I appreciate you coming on, and I appreciate you giving wisdom and nuggets for everybody to run with. We have so many comments here we didn't even get to go over, but I
Yeah.
tried to highlight them as we went. And I just want to thank everybody for joining us today. You know, people helping people. This is a labor of love. And,
Mm.
I set this up in my home to connect, to inspire, to hopefully be a place where you can tune in and no matter what, at least take something from it and grab whatever it is that you take that day and start integrating and working it into your life to make yourself better. And I can't do that without having amazing guests like Jeffery Van De Veere. And yeah, so utmost thank you to everybody that's joining us today. I'm going to give you all a round of applause because you deserve it.
Yay.
Thank you. And with
Well,
that being said, go ahead.
I hope everybody out there feels the love from each other and from you, Alexander J. I mean, you just exude. You are the epitome of the the kind of guy that everybody wants to be friends with, and you just are such a blessing and such a bright light, and we just appreciate you so much.
Thank you for that. I really do appreciate that. And, this is going to be one of many shows that we have together because you're an endless book of wisdom and knowledge and experience. So, man, I cannot wait to dive in some more with you. But, ladies and gentlemen, this has been another amazing episode of People Helping People. If you haven't already, go over to the Instagram. You'll see the logo. I'm going to make myself full screen. Actually, you know what? I think take your right or left. Go like right hand. Let me see your right hand go up. I'm going to see. Okay, left hand. Point straight up. Right. Point. No. Okay. Down. Move your hand down a little bit. Right. Okay. Right there. Yeah. See where he's pointing? That's our logo of People Helping People Live. So if you go on Instagram, go ahead and give that account a follow. We will be posting clips to allow everybody to see what's going on, give you the juicy stuff if you're not able to join us. But again, we appreciate everybody being here. And thank you, Jeff, for your time. Thank you for
Oh,
joining
my
us.
pleasure.
Nothing
My
but
pleasure.
love to you and our audience and another amazing episode of People Helping People Live. Everybody take care.
Thank you.